Is it just you, Mr. Boyle? Or you're mute? But I could work out what you said.
Sorry, it is, yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Well, just want, I believe you want to outline some timetable issue for us, and we'd like to just ensure that we all understand what was the actions that have arisen out of the last couple of days, and then we can understand the timetables as well that need to relate to those actions. We'd also like to, if it's not something you're going to raise, just have a little bit more of a discussion about the timetable for gypsy and travel work, and then potentially some other outstanding actions as well.
Okay.
So do you want to kick off, Mr. Boyle, and tell us?
Well, the timetable, the timetable issue I wanted to discuss is the gypsy and traveller timetable.
Okay.
So I have some proposed dates. Do you think it'd be better to start with the actions? Because
we'll start from the actions.
So
I wasn't sure what your timetable related to. So the actions from today and yesterday, yes.
Yeah. So I have 4 actions. Number 1 is the rewording of policy 2 and the its provision of the supplementary text.
Yes.
Would you like me to sort of suggest to you how long it would take us to do that?
Yes, that'd be helpful.
So I think I could do something within a week on that.
Okay.
But that needs to take account of the main modifications that we've already discussed about policy 2.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And we realise that we're kind of looking at a policy that we know will be modified because we've already discussed it, and we're modifying it further. So
yes,
no, you're absolutely right that we do need to make sure that it fits with the policy as we have already agreed needs to be modified.
Yes.
Okay. So you think you can do that?
I can do that by end of next week. End of next week. 30th of March.
Okay. And you're clear on what needs to be done from our discussion yesterday?
I am, yes. Yeah. Thank you. So the second action I had was the updated erratum document on the housing trajectory.
That's from today?
Yes.
Yeah, so that is so is that was that the information you're supplying on White House Farm, or was it the one that
White House Farm,
on White House Farm? Yeah.
The third one is one you requested this morning, the table showing changes to the trajectory on a site-by-site basis.
Yes, we've got the commentary, but just a simple table just explaining so we can see where it's changed.
Just on the updated housing trajectory, and there was that discussion about the Sproston site, wasn't there, being pushed back based on newly emerging information. There was another discussion today about the 2 Taylor Wimpey sites, which were, got them here, is it the north of Rockheath?
Yeah.
And I think the partnership acknowledged that the point that had been raised by Halsbury was that there were 2 Taylor Wimpey sites coming forward close together. And my understanding of what was said by the partnership is that they acknowledged that the sites together will deliver no more than 175 per annum, but that would have the effect of pushing basically, I think, 180 units out of the back end of the plan period. So if there's going to be an update to the trajectory to take account of the Sproston site, it would probably be prudent to include that site as well. Okay. Sorry, thank you.
Yes, that's helpful, thanks. And then the fourth action I had was providing you with the Natural England letters on Long Stratton.
Yes, that was just to illuminate the discussion, really. There seemed to be some disagreement on the interpretation of precisely what Natural England's position was. And both parties were referring to this letter that obviously isn't before the examination. So
I believe it was 2 letters, I believe, wasn't it?
Yes, there was 2. And my understanding is that those were letters submitted by Natural England to both applications, hence 2 letters. It'd be helpful to see those in forming a view on which interpretation is the correct one. Thank you.
Okay, that's my list of actions.
Yeah, I think that's our list as well. Annette, is that your list?
It is my list, but there was another item from yesterday that Mr. Hatfield was going to come back to the GNLP on whether he was going to give some thought as to whether he would wish to receive anything further. And that was regarding the discussions that you'd had with Phil Courtier.
That was Mr. Courtier offering to provide a note on, I think he indicated in the discussion that he was due to have a couple of additional meetings over the next few weeks, which he anticipated would provide further clarification on milestones for the wastewater upgrades to be secured. I think myself and Mr. Warden discussed that potential note, and we felt we didn't need it at this stage.
Okay.
There'd also be a danger that it might need to be subject to further discussion if it was submitted, such that there needs to be some reopening or some further opportunity to comment. I think we felt we didn't need it at this stage in any event, so that's not necessary at this stage.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So shall I talk you through our proposed timetable for the Gypsum Traveller?
Yeah.
Okay. So as I said yesterday, the consultation has been completed. We will be having the new councils formed after the elections. We intend to take cabinet papers. They'll be in the public domain on the 5th of June, with cabinets to be held on the 12th, 13th and 14th of June. So the final cabinet will be on the 14th of June. Please feel free to tell me if you think there's any issues with these. Then we propose to send you the finalised Gypsum Traveller site information and representations on the 19th of June. Now, what we were then anticipating was that you would produce your MIQs subsequent to that, which this is really in your choice, but this is what we've penciled in as a possibility. With if you were able to produce those the week commencing the 26th of June, then responses would come in by the 14th of July. With potential hearing session on the 25th of July, with the 26th of July as a contingency day for a second session if required.
So that would give, if we got them on the 19th, is it the week of or on the 19th?
19th specifically. That's deleted, yeah.
So if we got our MIQs out, we need 1, 2, 3. We need to give 3 weeks for people to write any statements. So we'd have to turn that around pretty quick. So if we got IMAQs out 26th, 27th, 26th would be 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We'd take it to the 17th. We'd have a week then to study those representations. Tom, you're on mute.
Sorry, a bit of a timetabling issue for me. I'm in an inquiry the week commencing the 19th, so I'll be sitting probably Tuesday to Friday of that week.
Yeah, and I'm on leave.
Sorry, is that July?
Yeah.
The 19th of June, I'd got would be the final reps sent
Yeah.
to us, and then we'd be expected to turn around, or I'd be asked to turn around the MIQs by the 26th. Yeah, I'm going to be. It's not near to me either. It'll be a long. I'm going to travel there, conduct the inquiry, and travel back. So I suspect the entire week commencing the 19th of June is going to be out for me, unfortunately.
Okay,
I mean,
so
the week after, I'm at home. It's whether we can. Right, Mr. Warden, what about you? What's your availability that week? You mentioned you were on leave the week commencing the 19th.
I'm on leave then, but we will know on the 14th of June. So we will know on 14th of June what the presume this is one paper going to all three cabinets.
Yes, it'll be the same as previously. Yeah, one.
And is it a you might not know, but is it a vote them all? Vote. I mean, there will be a recommendation, presumably from officers, is which types to go forward. I mean, I know you might not know, but presume there is, which will be the same report going to all three, and then if it is approved on the 4th, so we will know, we will see it on the 5th because it's public, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in fact, you would be able to see it before because there are committees, pre-cabinet committees, so they will go in the public domain on the 12th of May.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So we don't have to wait till we get everything passed to you before we can do IMIQs, and obviously we need to finalise them, but we could be working on those, couldn't we, Tom? Once we know.
Yeah, we can work
where
on
you're going, really, and then when we get to the 14th, then we'll know. Well, from the 15th, we'll know what the decision. Does that have to go to any council after those cabinets?
No.
Or partnership board or anything?
No.
So basically,
so
three
it's
cabinet approvals, and it goes.
Yeah, the council is when we adopt the plan. So the councils.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to clarify, on the cabinet reports will contain our recommendations for gypsum traveller sites to be included in the plan, and then those will be discussed at the hearings. Is my interpretation correct?
Okay. Right. So that, but your political delegation means that this doesn't have to go to cabinet. It doesn't have to go to council. It can be dealt with through just going to cabinet.
Yeah, it doesn't have to go to council. We have asked that question.
Okay. Because the mods, yeah, because whatever then happens then will become modifications, won't they?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we will have a bit of heads up on that. So even though we might be not able to work on them on that particular week.
Yeah, the first date that the cabinet, what will be the cabinet papers, will be in the public domain is the 12th of May.
Okay, Tom, on the week of the 26th.
Yeah.
Are you say you're available?
Yeah, it's the week commencing the 19th. I've got a week-long hearing in the southeast. The week after is just down for reporting on that, but obviously that can be moved to the following week if to free up time then. So the week commencing the 26th, I can dedicate to this.
So we will know what the report says. We won't be able to do anything on the week of the 19th, but early on the week of the 20th, because we'll have done some preparatory work, we should be able to get MIQs out early week of 26th.
Yeah, I mean, if we draft provisional MIQs based on the public information,
Yeah.
and tweak those if necessary based on anything that emerges from the cabinet meetings on the 26th and 27th, that's I can certainly accommodate that within my.
Okay, so that would give. So if we got those out, then they would be. We would get one. So if we got them out midweek, 1, 2, 3. So we'd have, if we go 3 weeks, it's tight. We'd have to then respond to that because we might not get them back till the 19th, and we'd have then to go into the hearing on 25th. If we're giving people 3 weeks, which is probably reasonable, isn't it?
In terms of our preparation time, if we
our preparation time is really condensed, but the members of the public that will have 3 weeks to comment on that. Make additional representations.
I don't have a problem with condensed preparation time as long as I've got 3 or 4 clear days beforehand, which I can do. I'm not. So we're talking about hearings. Sorry, let me just look again.
25th hearing on Tuesday 25th, with a reserve of 26th.
So we'd get the information on the 19th. We then got the 20th, 21st, and 24th to prep. I mean, 3 days would be enough for me, I think. And it's done virtually, isn't it? So there's no travel time. Yeah, I think 3 days is sufficient for me from my perspective.
I mean, it depends on what the volume is of representations, but and then how does what we're talking about us, but what about you? Your other work and holidays and things around that time?
No, I'm fine with those dates, and I can put them in my diary. That's okay. And with regards to the number of representations, obviously the GNLP will know that when they do their reports to Cabinet. What we don't know is how many people want to put in statements in response to your MIQs. So probably be judicious to do a sort of almost a mini guidance note, or to relook at the guidance note, so that these are new people, because these sites didn't exist before. So these are new people that I would write to as soon as we know that the cabinets are progressing those sites through to yourselves. There'll be a database of people that I would write to, let them know about the hearing, let them know there's MIQs coming out, give them a short sort of guidance note, so they understand how the session will work, what a statement response could include, and things like that. So I'm thinking that would be something we'd need to work on as well.
Okay. Then, Mr. Bowl, how does that sound to you?
Yes, that sounds very good.
Okay. So you will be on the same timetable in terms of making. You'll be able to respond to our MIQs, obviously, as you. So you'll be responding on that same timetable.
That's right.
But you will also have a shortened time before the hearings to read all the other statements in advance of that hearing.
So be it.
Okay. But certainly that, I mean, it's tight, but we can squeeze it. The alternative is that we miss that window when we go beyond the school holidays. Well, I mean, arguably into school holidays then, but we don't really want to get into August.
Oh, we would prefer not to.
Yes.
I think that's the assumption we've all been working on up to now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So there's no room for slippage in that.
No.
And yeah. So are those dates being set up specifically, those cabinet dates, or is it just the way it falls?
I'm not absolutely clear whether they're penciled in or definite cabinet dates. Our program officer has arranged this, so right. I'm afraid not absolutely clear. But she has specific dates, therefore they must be very close to being confirmed. If not confirmed,
you don't know. Do you know which order they're in?
Yes, South Norfolk 12th, Broadland 13th, Norwich 14th.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And is that helpful to you in terms of communicating queries that you get? Obviously, there's some confirmation to do and on that, but that's a kind of a working timetable.
Yeah, no, it's really helpful. There have been some people have been requesting information, and until we discussed it, I wasn't sure how we want to progress it. So that really helps. Of course, the thing we don't know is which sites, all the sites, some of the sites are going forward. So I'm not able to assist people with that, and that's what the officer reports will say. So we can only take the conversation so far with them, but at least it gives people a framework of how things will progress. Thank you.
And is there alongside that updated evidence, so Egyptian traveller evidence as well, which will be part of the hearing?
Well, you have the evidence we have. We have already updated the evidence.
Okay. So in respect to the Lisa Smith judgment, there's no additional evidence.
We're not proposing to produce specific evidence on that, but that will be taken account of in our proposed approach set out in the cabinet reports.
Okay.
So we are taking account of it.
Okay. And when the consultation closes, is the consultation closed?
It has closed. It closed on Monday.
Yeah. And do you know how many responses you've had?
I don't know specifically. There were 2 sites that generated a large number of responses. So I'm afraid I don't know specifically the actual numbers, but there will be a large volume of responses on 2 particular sites.
Okay.
Will you be publishing anything summarising the consultation responses you received?
That'll be part of our cabinet report.
But nothing in advance of then, in terms of summarising the objections. I'm just thinking if either myself or Mr. Warden goes down and views the sites at some point, I think if
that would be helpful. We have to do that for cabinet reports. I can talk to the team and see if we can progress that more rapidly. So, I mean, committee papers to be ready by 12 May.
I'll probably be coming down at some point to visit the sites, and obviously if I've had sight of the key issues raised and objections prior to those site visits, that'd be helpful just to inform the observations I make, the things I check when I'm there.
Yeah. So what sort of dates were you considering you might do that?
I think I was looking at late April, early May. Late April, I think.
Can I get back to you via net on that? Because
that's fine. It would only need to be. It wouldn't need to be anything public. It's just headline issues raised by representatives, if it's possible to do so. I can go and view the sites anyway, but if I could have sight of some of the key objections, the key concerns that are being raised by interested parties, that would be helpful context for the site visit if possible. It doesn't need to be anything as detailed as you might present to cabinet, but just the flagging up the headline headline concerns. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. I can commit to doing that. Yes.
Thank you.
By late April.
Thank you. And just be clear then, Mr. Hatfield, we're not intending to go onto the sites. We're just intending to do things from a public viewpoint. So
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Thank you. Are there any other matters that we need to discuss?
There's nothing else I wanted to raise.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's very helpful, Mr. Bull. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for you and your team's contributions over the last couple of days. And we'll see you in July.
Yes, and well, thank you. We'll see you then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.